transport and freight forwarding industries are calling for urgent intervention at the Beitbridge Border Post. They're arguing that a humanitarian crisis is unfolding and this could lead to a rise in COVID-19 cases. For more on this, I'm joined by Lin Botha. She is a representative for the SA Association of Freight Forwarders. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. We spoke to the Department of Health a few days ago about the situation at the Beitbridge Border Post, and they said with their engagements with the Department of Transport and Home Affairs, things are improving and the trucks and other travellers are moving through the border. What, according to you, is the latest situation there?
Rofhiwa, currently the situation is a lot better than it has been for the last 20-odd days. This morning the queue is only about 4.2 kilometers northbound, but there's still quite an issue within Zimbabwe of southbound vehicles trying to get into South Africa, some of which are empty, and the queue on that side is estimated at about 15 kilometers so far this morning.
And you're calling for urgent intervention from authorities. What would this urgent intervention look like? Because you do highlight that there's a risk of increased COVID-19 cases. People have already lost their lives as a result of waiting there. But what would this intervention look like?
Yeah, Rofhiwa, the problem is, the truck drivers are amongst the most controlled of any part of our citizenship when it comes to COVID-19 testing, because the whole SADC region and further afield requires them all to keep daily journals of their temperatures. It requires for them also to have testing done when they enter various countries. So in theory, they're like the most tested and the most negative people and guys who have the most awareness of what COVID will and won't mean to them and their livelihood. So for COVID testing to be brought in at level 1 for truck drivers that are, like I say, very, very aware since March with the COVID lockdown level 5 is a little bit silly for us. We didn't think that it was one of the brightest things that had been asked for. And the thing is also, these guys are singular. Most of them travel alone within their trucks. The only time they meet other people is at any stoppages that they have to make, either for food or where the borders are keeping them for days and days in a queue. And that's the only time they really get to socialize.
Right, and one of the ways in which government or the Department of Health is dealing with the situation, they announced that they would cancel the rapid testing at the border post, and the Director General actually said that he is leaving the testing and the monitoring of truck drivers to the trucking industry solely, and that it's no longer going to be on the hands of government to make sure that the people flowing through the border are COVID negative. I mean, your thoughts on that? Should it not be a collective effort to ensure that people are moving around as safely as possible through the border post?
Yeah, Rofhiwa, that's true. It's a little bit like I explained to you a short while ago. The drivers and the transporters are well aware of what happens to them and their industry and their economics if they are not truly COVID aware. So the drivers are kept with sanitizers. A lot of them carry ablution water and washing water. And every time the trucks are brought into depots, they're sanitized and fumigated. So like I say to you, the transport industry and the drivers especially are more COVID aware than most of the rest of the population of this region. And they understand the economics. They can't move goods without drivers. Drivers can't be in the truck unless they're negative and unless they're taking the correct method of prevention. So they really are aware of the spread of COVID, and that's what makes them nervous when they're all bunched up in queues for days and hours. And I mean, there's no ablutions, no sanitation, nothing along the side of the road for these guys. So you go from creating a level of COVID awareness within your industry, and then you're let down basically by the officials when you reach the border posts because they're not moving and there's no way for them to keep their ablutions and sanitization up.
That is Lin Botha of the SA Association of Freight Forwarders. They're giving us insights into the trucking industry and how they're dealing with the situation at the Beitbridge Border Post and how government should be getting involved.